concepts of good and evil. If I tell you that I have a good washing machine, you know a lot about my washing machine. You know that it's efficient, it washes clothes, gets them very clean, perhaps that it uses not very much electricity in doing so, and a whole lot of things. Now suppose I tell you that I have a bad washing machine. Well, I haven't told you very much about my washing machine at all. You don't know whether it's full of glue, or tears the clothes, or covers them in oil, or simply takes them in interminable length of time, as most washing machines seem to do. The point is, there's a kind of coherence to the notion of good, in that there isn't to the notion of evil, or badness. Oh, another indicative argument that shows the same thing is that another indicative argument that shows the same thing is that two good people can always collaborate. People who are really acting for the good in a situation can always collaborate, but people who are bad, evil, notoriously may well be enemies as well as friends.
I've got a slide I'm going to get into that.
No, that's
my slide's up here and it's relevant to
all right, let me explain what I take this to mean.
Right. This is a claim.
I take the theory of evolution by natural selection to be the following. That we can explain the existence of the species on Earth by two very simple principles. A principle of variation in population, and a principle that some variations do better than others, both in survival and in reproduction. So, the species that survive better and have more children tend to pass on their characteristics to those children, and a gene comes to predominate in the population. And
isn't that what Dawkins means with his selfish metaphor?
Well, Dawkins is totally unclear that this really is a metaphor. What I was pointing out is that you can't believe that we are lumbering robots and simultaneously believe that we should get to know what our genes are up to so that we can thwart them. Either you believe in free will or you don't. This is a formal contradiction.
No, that's not right. No, that's not right. That's where this picture comes into here, and it's tied in with what you're saying about good and evil. This is a clay showing the primates, the monkey, the gibbon, the orangutan, the gorilla, the chimp, and the human. They all have a common ancestor some 300 or 400 million years ago, and that's what these black lines denote, the branching of the species. Do you accept that as a principle?
Yes.
You accept that before humans developed the symbolic ability and language, they had no concept of genetics or evolution.
Well, but before they developed language, I would say they weren't formally humans, but yes, they were humanoid at least.
So you accept the principle that humans and all these other animals had a common ancestor some millions of years ago. Now, during those millions of years, the process that led to the successful ones at the end was carnage. It was dog eat dog. It was selfishness. It was evil. It was the
except that it wasn't. What we're doing in that is importing a whole bunch of moral concepts which only apply once you've got a language into a pre-moral world. But when the lion eats the antelope, it's not acting badly, it's just hungry, right? There's no morality for lions. There's morality for linguistic beings. So to import a kind of cruelty or savagery or any moral concept into a pre-moral world is philosophically silly. And that's the kind of philosophical silliness that I was convicting Dawkins of.
It's not philosophically silly, it's just a question of agreeing what we mean by the words. What you're saying is you accept that there was all that carnage.
Of course there was.
You
well,
accept,
not carnage, but
you accept
some animals ate other animals. What's that carnage?
You accept that if an animal is more cunning, or it's faster, or it's got bigger teeth and so on, then it will have survival value and it will pass those characteristics on to the people. That's what Dawkins means by the selfishness of the genes.
That's not the point at which I disagree with Dawkins. The point at which I disagree with him is that he thinks our genes make us robots, so he denies free will, and then later on he says...
You just agreed with that. You've agreed that there was a pre-moral world, and that morality and non-lumbering of robots only appeared after man's symbolic capabilities and language appeared.
Yes, but that precisely means that we're not lumbering robots. That precisely means that we're not simply made by our genes. The pre-moral creatures, pre-linguistic creatures were made by their genes, simply speaking, and still are. But once you've got language, once you've got culture, you've got a whole other story. This is not a religious objection, this is a purely philosophical objection.
Because
I don't think we should leave the thing between the two of us. Let's
have a
if you two would like to stay where you are, well, we've got you there. So, hopefully somebody has got a few questions. Go for the lady in red.
Can we extend the light till midnight? I just don't know where to start. Because other people I know are desperate too. When you said intelligent people believe in evolution, you have it in a nutshell. Of course. I hope you're wrong. I hope intelligent people do not believe in evolution. I don't believe in evolution. I would argue very strongly against anyone who believes in evolution. Belief means you accept without any evidence. The evidence for evolution is overwhelming, and that's why we accept it. That's what science is. Science is knowledge. We see the problem, we look for the answer, we experiment. Now wait a minute, just let me speak. I'll only be 2 minutes. We look for the evidence, we experiment. When we find the answer, we accept that is the truth, because that's where the evidence is. Now you say the answer is God. I say you're mixing up the question and the answer. The question is this wonderful world that we live in, this huge complexity of life surrounding us. That's the question. That's not the answer.
That's not a question.
The question, there are two possible answers. You've got one answer. You say God did it. We say, where's your evidence? We have a huge amount of evidence supporting the opposite theory.
Okay.
Let's see your evidence.
Let me explain. We use the word belief all the time to mean not at all. We use the word. Words mean what people use them to mean, and what people use the word belief to mean is things that they hold to be true.
Without any evidence.
No, that's not a point of belief.
That's belief. Look at the dictionary.
The whole point about scientific truth is that it was always provisional. You can take them. There is no absolute belief. Evolution works as a theory.
In any case, I think that the scientific evidence tends to demonstrate the truths that evolutionary biologists teach. That's what I meant by saying I believe in evolution. That the scientific evidence supports a belief, supports conclusively perhaps even, a belief in evolution. That's what I was using the word belief to mean. So I wasn't using it to mean that I have some kind of totally anti-rational adherence to this theory. And I think anyone who has an anti-rational or non-rational adherence to anything is very, very, very foolish, including belief in God. Now,
in God? Where's your evidence for God?
All right, let me just... I haven't got to that yet. Now, what we want in all sorts of situations is not precisely scientific evidence. Most of us, for example, believe that the people who claim to be our parents really are our parents. Now, that's not an irrational thing to believe, but it's something that most of us have never seen the evidence for. Right? So there are all sorts of things, all sorts of everyday things that we believe for reasons, good reasons, but not on the basis of scientific evidence. So there are all sorts of things that all kinds of ways in which we support our beliefs, other than those of scientific evidence.